And that is an incredible statement, just by going from when I was diagnosed, where people weren't expected to live to 18, 20, and now over the half of the CF population is over 18. This is huge, guys, and it's because of the research, clinical trials, and the drug companies. The thing that's unique about the CF community is we're all in, and if you guys Google Vertex All In for CF, there's a new campaign that was launched yesterday. But it's not just Vertex, it's every company here. They're invested in CF, and they're invested in the fight, and they actually care about us patients. It's not just like, hey, we're a pharmaceutical company. Like, they actually are in the fight with us too, and it's so cool. And that's why over 50% of us are like old, and I'm expecting to be old and see my nieces get married and have kids and have dogs and have their kitchens flood, and it's awesome. And not just in my life, it's your life. I mean, right now we have people with CF who are doctors and lawyers and nurses and flight attendants. I don't know, I just made that up, but maybe. People working real jobs and fulfilling lives, and that's, again, because of you guys and the hard work. But your kids are going to be good. They're going to have a long life. They're going to have a future. The dreams, the 3 things that you want maybe to have are going to happen. And you guys should be so hopeful and excited about what's going to happen, because it's awesome. It is awesome. If there is a good time to live with CF, which there never is, now is the time, because we are at a point where we're not turning back. There's no way it's going to get worse. It can only get better, and we will rock CF. Yes. I'll just take this out of the bag. I mean, I'll answer any question.
I'm Susan.
Susan.
I'm Ted's, well,
Oh, yeah.
Ted's my husband.
That's nice. You didn't say I'm Ted's wife. That's very good. I definitely feel we're in Maine when things like that happen.
I was inspired, and I have a question for you about what, I know your health issues triggered you to start exercising.
Right.
What's the hardest thing for any human being to be self-motivated to do that?
Yeah.
Did you have a friend? Did you just do it?
I had people along the way kind of help me get started, but they didn't really help me with the running part. It was more like, let's go to the gym and start a workout. And then that would fizzle out after 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It was really that one time when I flew to my brother's wedding in San Francisco, and there was a group of people there, and 2 of them were runners, or 1 was a marathon runner. And I'm like, if she can run marathons, I can run a 5K. So it was kind of after that meeting, someone who actually was a runner, that I was like, oh, I can do this. And then I started researching more and reading Runner's World magazine, because it's my favorite magazine. And I just got inspired that way. And once I really felt the positive change in my health, I was like, there's no way I can turn back now. It's very cool. And my mom actually started running at the same time, so we ran our first 5K together in Detroit, and that was cool. A cool 48-minute 5K. She's painting. She didn't know. I'm making fun of her right now, but.
I just think that, I think of any excuse not to exercise.
Right.
I don't have CF.
Right.
To have that
I just read,
against you.
yeah, there was an article this morning that's like people think of any reason not to do it. And you gotta kind of like put yourself in, you gotta like guilt trip yourself a little bit. Like, if I don't run for 40 minutes or an hour, what am I gonna do with that hour? Sit and watch Netflix? Probably, and I don't hate that, because I do that at home every night. It's just you have to really want to do it, and once you experience the benefits, I mean, there's mornings I get up and I'm like, oh, no. But then I do it and I'm like, I feel great. Where's coffee and where's my oatmeal? And I'm just excited to start the day. All my friends who do not exercise are always tired. And I'm like, why are you tired? You're not exercising. I'm up at 5:15 running or biking or doing something, and I've got more energy than, well, that just might be the coffee. I don't know, but it's just cool. It's not who I was. So it's nice to like feel how I feel now, because it's not how I was before. And it's hard sometimes. Oh my goodness.
You mentioned that you changed your diet. What did you do differently?
Right, so this is fun. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, this typical CF diet was awesome. I spoke in Denver last week, and we were talking about this. Colorado has like the lowest BMI, and because they're all eating like they're from Boulder and they just eat kale all day. So the CF patients have a really low BMI. I eat kale a lot too, but the typical CF diet was like fast food a lot and really poor, high calorie but poor calories, right? And I think when I was my sickest playing in the band, I was also eating fast food a lot and not even thinking about, I was just like, I have CF, I need the calories. I have CF, I need the calories. That's just, I used it as a crutch, right, to eat really poorly. And then I decided, like, this, doing research about exercise, doing more research about food, and how food can be medicine and help, like, fuel your workouts in your life. So I kind of switched to the more whole foody thing, dropping off fast food and soda, and I started to feel really good. I've got DO, so intestinal obstruction syndrome, so I was drinking Go Lightly like I should have been sponsored by Go Lightly. I was drinking it so much. Once I cut out meat, my digestion was like awesome. So I focused on nutritional rich foods, nutrient rich foods. So now it's like a lot of beans, and it's almond butter and peanut butter. Fruit at like every meal, like fruit is the thing. A lot of veggies. And people always say, how do you get your fat? Because with Kalydeco, I have to take with fat. So it's a scoop of almond butter or peanut butter, or it's coconut oil in my oatmeal. It's avocado, like every day of my life, avocado party. It's just being smart and paying attention. And I found that there's like less inflammation. So my thing is like, you got to treat your body good. In order to deal with CF, your body should be happy and healthy. And food can do that, reduce inflammation. So like I've flown 14 times in the past 17 weeks, and I haven't gotten one cold once. So we don't have an immune problem with CF, so we don't have a low immunity, but we can catch a cold, and if we catch a cold, it can turn into something, right? So a higher immune system could help you from getting a cold, I guess. That's my view on it. So I just feel good. I feel so much more energetic, and I pay attention to the food I'm eating and the colors of it, and still high calorie. And protein, a lot of beans. My friends still like me after this lifestyle change. But I'm just more in tune, and I can't believe the way I was eating, you know. And sure, it looks good on paper. My BMI was great, but my lungs are doing great now, and I feel great, and I wouldn't go back. I did eat oysters in Florida. Yeah.
You talked about a project you were working on with Jerry Cahill about exercise.
Oh, with Ronnie.
With Ronnie Sharp, and exercise being more a prescription.
Yep.
Elaborate on that one.
Yeah, so that's in its early trial still with this. We didn't really meet our fundraising goal the first time, but we're not going to stop until we do reach that goal. And it's to be able to, I think, get the patients. This is like more of his study, but we're just funding it and kind of helping promote it. It would be for patients to wear devices and then just track results from them every day. Not tell them to do anything more or do anything less, just kind of get results about what we're doing and how the health is. Study that and then take it a step further then, and I think have them do more or do less of something. And I think the end result is to be able to replace a treatment or a vest treatment with exercise, right? I think that's the whole thesis, or I don't know what you call those things in studies, like the end result, right? So it's in its early phase, but there's a lot of studies at a Mayo Clinic. There's one researcher, specifically Courtney Wheatley, who has tons of published articles, and they're so fascinating because they compare exercise to albuterol, right? There's one study that's great, and then she's the one that also studied how it affects your gene and your cell and your sodium chloride. So at one point during rigorous exercise, it's like your cell almost functions like it doesn't have CF for that certain short point of time. So it's really interesting that it can go beyond just, it's essentially doing what Kalydeco does, but it's exercise. So there's so much information out there. It's still early in the ball game. I'm excited though.
On the heels of that, my question for you is, you are running so much right now.
Uh-huh.
Do you eliminate a vest treatment? Do you feel like you could eliminate a vest treatment through all your exercise?
Right. Yep. So the question is, because of all my running and biking and such, do I feel like I can eliminate a vest treatment? And the answer is no, because at my stage in the game, it's just like it is a routine. So I run in the morning, get cleaned up, eat breakfast, then do my vest. And the vest helps really nicely with digestion, so I don't want to eliminate that. But I get this question a lot, especially because of Kalydeco and how good I feel now. People ask me, or they say, like, you don't have any treatments, you just do Kalydeco. And I'm like, oh, no. Like, I did Pulmozyme yesterday morning, and I'll do Pulmozyme tonight with my vest. And even this morning, I can feel a little bit more junky because I haven't done Pulmozyme yet today. So yeah, I definitely don't feel like at the first year and a half on Kalydeco, I was like, oh yeah, port, take that baby out. It's been in there 13 years, just take it out. I don't even need my vest. But yeah, I definitely need it. And some, like this week, I don't know what's going on, allergies or something. I'm coughing quite a bit. So, and it's routine.
I have so many questions. I guess just to narrow it down, like what is the least amount of exercise that you do in a day?
Today is my day off, actually, like day off on my training program. So I did some push-ups and squats. So like a day on for me is running 4 to 5 to 6 miles right now until I really start ramping it up, or biking 40 minutes. If it's good Netflix, it's an hour and a half bike. But like a day off, with running so much, you're prone to injuries with like IT band or some small muscle injuries that can lead to bigger injuries. So I have to pay attention to like strengthening my booty, because that's really big for running, and just doing like little exercises that will help my running. So the least exercise, I can't do nothing because I'm so like crazy. Like walking my dog would be the least. But definitely start every day with movement. I have to like do something in the morning, whether it's jumping jacks or push-ups or something, every morning just to, yeah.
I've got one more.
One more.
So what you said usually when you go into the hospital now, you think it's probably because of allergies or something like that. Are you still culturing bacteria?
Yes, so the question is, am I still culturing bacteria? And when I go in the hospital, kind of what's the root cause? I went in August because I started to, my lung function dropped into the 70s, which was a change for me to go from the 80s to the 70s. I felt really tired. So if I'm tired, something's wrong. And I was coughing up more and coughing up blood and all this stuff. So I do still culture Pseudomonas. And even that first year when I was barely producing any mucus, I still cultured it. So that's why I have to do treatments, right? So even my friends were like, why do you still have to do that stuff? And I was like, because I still have the Pseudomonas, and that can turn into an infection, right? So we still treat that. And I tend to do IVs versus orals, because orals, like Cipro and stuff, have been known to mess with my tendons. So if I'm training like all year, then I can't risk that. So I'd rather just get my port accessed and do IVs so I can still run and ride with the IVs. So yeah, once you're like in your 30s and you've been doing this for a while, you kind of figure out what works best for you. When your kids get into their teens, they'll be like, hey mom, I think I need to go to the hospital, or hey dad. We really get to know our bodies better than almost anybody out there, because we know how we should feel, we can feel, and how we shouldn't feel. And we really, by our teens, get to know that. And we help. I mean, at that point, kids should be talking to their doctors about their symptoms. You can interject with what you notice, but it's the kids who really know their body the best. Unless they're lying because they don't want to go into the hospital, which we do it. I feel great. No, yeah. Well, you look terrible. Thanks. I get that one a lot. Yeah.
So, I'm the social worker you met over there.
Yep.
I won't report your parents.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what is probably the most helpful or supportive thing that your care team has done for you, and what's been the least helpful?
It's a great question. I think the most supportive thing, my pediatric care team was like my family. They were awesome and always there. I think the biggest thing is when you call the clinic because you're sick, is when the pediatric nurse will be like, we'll get here right now and we'll get you figured out and admitted or whatever we need to do. Just being there and making you feel like family, and they want to help you. And the worst thing is my adult side calling when you're sick and they don't call you for 3 days. Yeah, because when I call, I'm actually sick. I don't call unless I'm sick, and I'm not sick that often anymore, so it's like I'm actually calling because I am sick and I feel really bad. So it's a direct line of communication, which is nice. I have my doctor and I are very tight. He's a runner, so our clinic appointments go like this. How you feeling? Good. Well, how's your running going? So we just talk about running for 45 minutes. But I can email him at any point if I'm sick or if I need a script, and he'll respond right away and get it taken care of, because he knows I'm not working the system. I'm sick and I want to get better so I can continue running and cycling, and that's what he's there for. So it's cool to have a great relationship with your care team. Yeah.
My daughter is a runner.
Cool.
And she'd love a pair of sneakers.
We'll hook her up.
But, so, if her running to equal a medication, what would her target week, or how many miles a day? Like 2 miles, I'm sure is not enough. Is
Right.
5 miles? 10
Well,
miles?
that's what we're trying to study. Nobody has that answer yet. That's why we need to fund this study, because we don't know. So the end result with that study is, what can we say? Is it 3 miles with 2-minute intervals at, a 7-minute pace? And it's going to be different for everybody, right? Because some people with CF may not be able to walk a mile, and some are running 100-mile runs in Denver. Not me. That is not me. That's another guy. But so that's the goal, is to be able to figure it out. And then the care team, but then it's another added set of resources where care teams might need a physical therapist. They might need an exercise coach at every clinic to work with each patient to find this individualized program. And maybe it's not running. Maybe it's an erg machine or elliptical. So we're still, who knows how long this is going to be, but all I can say is the vest isn't going to hurt. So do the vest, but then throw in exercise. But even when I travel sometimes, I don't bring my vest. So I'll run. Like I went to Florida for 9 days. I ran every day. The days I didn't run, my mom pounded me. So it's like there's a quality of life versus being crazy. Not crazy, but in my mind, I'm crazy. But you got to find what works for you and for your kid. But stay tuned on that info. It will be cool. Oh, here she is again, ladies and gentlemen. Just kidding. I'll get you next.
Aside from your parents, really just letting you be a normal kid,
Mhm.
what would you say is the thing that they did the most that really supported you as
Right.
you were growing up?
This is great. So it's about my parents, and aside from them letting me be who I was and supporting me, what else did they do? And we never made CF a focus. And I talked about this in Denver this weekend, is we don't talk about CF. It's not because we deny that I have it. We have never made it a focus. My parents don't call me and say, how you feeling? But my mom, she'll know something's wrong. She can tell, again, these mothers, they're wild. She can know if something's wrong just by the tone of my voice or something in my voice, right? And my uncles are the same way. They're out of state, but we talk and they know, what's going on with you. But my parents and immediate family members and even friends never talk about CF. My parents, with my fundraising and Rock CF, don't ever speak on my behalf. They never say, my daughter has, they don't do that stuff, which I totally appreciate. They let me speak on my behalf. If I want them to share something on Facebook, they'll share it. Or sometimes my dad he types in caps, LOL, all the time. I'm like, Dad, what do you do? He needs a little lesson in Facebook. But we just have never made CF a focus. It's never stopped us from doing anything. And it's never been well, she has CF, but yeah, we can do that. Never once. And that's how it is now, to this day. They don't do anything CF related until they're like, hey, what do you think if we do this? I might join this board for something. I'm like, okay. But they won't ever step in and do Rock CF stuff or anything. My dad will wear a Rock CF t-shirt when he cuts the grass, or he'll wear a Rock CF hat when he's going to the brewery in town, but they never harp on it, bring it up, or talk about it unless it's a CF event. Or I travel here today and they ask how it went, and I say it's great. The parents are awesome. It's they've never spoken on my behalf or made CF the first point of any conversation, even when I'm in the hospital. Which I'm not sure if there's a psychiatrist in the house, if that's a good thing, but I'm sick and the nurses ask you, how you doing? And I'm like, great, how are you? And I'm like, well, I'm obviously sick with